All right, folks, my name is Dan Fox, and this is a blog mini-series called Maya's Multiplication Misery, or you could call it Teaching ADHD Kids Math. These blogs, the idea behind them is basically that I take my clinical, theoretical suggestions that I give to parents in the office and see if I can apply them with my own children at home. So here goes. Here's the challenge. The challenge is the multiplication tables. My daughter Maya is 8 years old. She's in 3rd grade, and she needs to learn the multiplication tables from 2 to 9. Each one of those numbers gets multiplied all the way up to 12. And if you succeed, you get an ice cream sundae treat. Failure, and I've got a disaster on my hands. And beyond that, of course, the math tables do seem to be a bit of a staple for future math endeavors, and I would like her not to be tortured for several years in math class. Nevertheless, Maya is a right-brain thinker. She's very creative. She's very artsy. She is not mathematically inclined, and this stuff is difficult for her. Also, as we saw in our title, this is about teaching ADHD kids math. So Maya falls in this category. She's got diagnosed ADD. So my wife and I are no rookies, and we have both developed a lot of strategies for working with our kids on homework. She is an elementary school teacher. She got her master's at CU and teaches kindergarten. And I've got my license as a professional counselor, taught in high schools, was a school counselor, and also a high school principal. So in terms of parental support, I think we're trying to do our part. My purpose in getting deeper into this blog is to share with you guys the trials and tribulations that we've had, so that you too can come up with some suggestions and also see that you're in good company. I want you to see the real nuts and bolts of what happens when we take these theories and try to apply them in our homes. So we have, of course, and I just want to give you some back view, some history, a summary. We have, of course, tried a lot of things with Maya over time to support her education and specifically the math stuff. I volunteer weekly in her classroom. I do that all through 2nd grade, and I'm getting that set up for this year. I sat in on her math class, and I didn't always, partner with her necessarily, but just was there each week to be a support because I like doing it. I want to be a part of my kid's school, and I thought math was a good thing because I'm a math guy. I actually was a math major. I like math, so it's kind of a natural way for me to help out in the school. We've made a whole bunch of different flashcards, of course, about different ways of thinking about math, little charts that have different tables with multiplication going on. Over time, I've done a lot of card games with her. A lot of things we're just counting and adding up to try to get a sense of numbers. Nothing's been super systematic. Nothing's been super systematic, and we're going to get back to that. And we've had a whole bunch of strategies, star charts, reward systems for getting homework done, accomplishing other things like that. So, I would say that's probably a typical gamut of what parents try to do, and we're wrestling with the kinds of things that you guys are probably wrestling with in terms of how much effort do we want to spend on this, how much do we want to push her to stay at this level, versus to try to explain to the school that this is a very difficult task for her in comparison to other students, and to maybe protect her, shield her, get her some accommodations. In this particular case, I'm a believer that she's got to figure out her math tables, and there's a lot of stuff that I feel like we don't want to subject her to that might be sort of intrinsically difficult, but this one I feel like is a hill we're going to climb, and I want to do it without compromising our time at home, quality of our relationships, and her overall feeling about math, school, and her self-esteem. So we'll see how that goes. I got pulled into this process because it's big, and it's got this sort of ice cream sundae feature to it, and Maya's feeling some pressure and some motivation. My wife, realizing that this task was too big for an educational specialist like herself with a master's degree and 13 years of experience in elementary schools, so she asked if I could be, a part of the process, and I was. I'm going to tell you about the first day. Largely a disaster, folks. Largely a disaster. The first day, boy, I made the mistake of doing this on the couch. We have 4 children. In future blogs, you'll get to see them in sort of real time, or at least Maya. Hopefully I've wised up and have a nice designated study area. Anyway, we're on the couch, and it was just full of distractions and noise, things that are visually interesting. They're going to be a distraction for Maya, and she was distracted. I'd say that was probably, we had engineered this to fail because I picked the wrong setting. And I knew that as it was happening, but I persisted with some theoretical hope that just by bringing her back over and over and over again, we're somehow training something. I spent about 20 or 25 minutes going through the 5s, 5 times 2 through 5 times 12, the 9s, and the 2s. I did this for a reason, because if you get the 5s right, you get a spoon for the sundae. If you get the 9s, you get the ice cream. If you get the 2s, you get a bowl. So I figured she'd get at least that much of the sundae done if we could get those 3 numbers. Sprinkles, marshmallows, all that other stuff, we hope to get to it as well. Nevertheless, I feel like the mistakes that were made from that was that there was no sort of previewing structure set up, working together to create the right situation, and then I just plopped down in the midst of chaos, expecting that my ADHD child is going to be able to focus. If things are too intense and she's distracted, then we're not really learning the math. We're struggling around focus issues. And so we're trying to, my role is to really help to protect the space from distractions so that she can actually focus on what we want to focus on, which is figuring out how to really understand this math stuff. So at the end of the day, I've got a new goal, or my next goal for the next time is to systematize the process. What do I mean by that? Well, you'll see, because I'll be doing this with her the next time, but we're going to try to get a space in order, get a little bit more of a rhythm, and for me to get a sense of how I can plug into this every day, because of course, life being what it is has happened, and the last time we tackled math was 3 nights ago. 2 nights ago was my date night with my wife, and last night I was giving a talk, so it hasn't been every night. It's kind of useless what I did with her 3 days ago at this point. It wasn't enough to really make a foundational change. It was like exercising once. And I hope she felt good at the gym, but we didn't really exercise as much as sort of try to figure out why the equipment wasn't working right. Metaphorically speaking, right? That was how the choice of space wasn't working. So I hope you stayed with me. I hope this is helpful. I hope there's some excitement about seeing this stuff pan out in real time. The next episode in this mini-series is going to be me trying to get this goal in place with Maya as we go through math tables. See you then.